I've been traveling around the world, and I saw a lot of poverty. I went to Middle East, and I saw the conditions that how women live, and I want to help them. And my husband at the time, he said, "Oh, you're Jewish woman, you cannot help Middle Eastern women." So my idea went nowhere. I went to Africa, and I want to help women because I saw those conditions. And my ex-husband said, "Oh, you belong to be petite, you cannot do that." So, okay, I followed, I was listening to him. So now I don't have my husband. And I'll start the initiative.
My message actually to this group is that women by nature are better at this to begin with. And the science is definitive that feelings and emotions are the core of consciousness, the core of thinking, the core of perception, and the core of judgment. And my argument is that we can get systematic and linear about understanding feelings, senses, and emotions, this sort of nebulous arena that traditionally the world, and men in particular in culture, has tried to set aside.
And I think it's a dialogue that we have to continue because we can't really leave men out of the equation when we talk about empowering women. And I'm happy to say in my particular project we have many, many men who support us, and over 100 worldwide that are working on it.
And from there, I become inspired. What is then business becomes more pleasure. What becomes emotional is the sharing of concerts, of ballet, of opera. And the community grows around it. And I'm just going to give an example, Lincoln Center, our own backyard. Look when you go to Lincoln Center. The restaurants, the hotel, the apartments, the stores. Businesses are growing. Real estate lawyers are needed. Financial planners are needed. Employment grows. I can see all the business women in the audience going, yes, that's so true.
Given proper education, training, and tools, we are hoping to help women to make their life better. But not only for themselves, but for their children, their families, communities, and maybe the country as a whole. But what we think, we want to take one day at a time. If we know that helping one woman, we empower many.
My organization doesn't use the word equality when it comes to men and women because we kind of thrive on women's differences. And what she said to me was, well, why would I want to be a man? So I'm asking you openly, what do you think of the notion of equality? Do women want to be more like men? Do we want to be our own type of person? How do you think we best advance women?
I find once in reference to that we're somewhat caught in a loop of what male and female energy really is. And if you really study a little bit of the biology, the psychology, we're really both. And I think the more that we are happy with the balance within ourselves, the less we get pulled into the loop of what is a man, what is a woman. But I feel as women, we will grow individually, strengthened within when we break that loop of what men and women are and look at what we bring to the table.
Now, there's recently been a study done by a man in England on what makes Wall Street traders successful. And at the end of the day, he came down and said it was testosterone. But ironically, if you read his, and he got a lot of press coverage for this, but what he actually also went on to say was that same testosterone caused them to take too much risk, to continue the risk, and the solution to this was to put more women on trading desks.
Women make up 50% of the population. So if you don't invest in 50% of the population, you can look at it any way you want. Economically, it's not a very good choice. Politically, it's probably not a very good choice.
My instinct was to take less risk than men, and the studies do show that men have a higher beta of up and down performance, and women aren't willing to take those same risks.
That the skills you gain when you have a couple, 3, 4 children in a short period of time, even if you are just home managing, are huge business skills, and that you can then turn them back into the workforce. And also the idea, and there's so much research coming out now about the value of women on boards and how if you have a woman on a board, their look at the financials is much more accurate than if you have no women on boards.
Thank you.